look, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff, but the leftists, they invited this by overreaching on the other side.
Bill Maher totally went off on the left and the woke on the Club Random podcast with guest Luke Bryan. Now, this isn't the first time Bill has talked against the left. However, he brings up Trump and he doesn't go off. And it actually seems like he doesn't think it's unreasonable what Trump has been doing since he's been president. Let's see what Bill Maher has to say.
But no, I don't. Look, I always loved playing the red states because I would get a crowd that was hip, smart, but didn't have that fucking woke stick up their ass. You know?
And you felt that though?
In some cities,
Right.
you know, it got better in recent years, even in like woke places like San Francisco, because the crowd understood that I was going to give them what we agree on, which is we're not conservatives, but we don't just pretend that woke nonsense isn't nonsense. And they want to hear that. I mean, Trump is changing America in the last 2 days, like overnight. And look, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff, but the leftists, they invited this by overreaching on the other side. He's getting rid of all DEI. Well, they went too far the other way. They put DEI everywhere. They left the border open. Like you look at the chart for like this president, like Clinton and Obama and Bush, it changed. Trump, it changed very little. And then Biden, of course they're going to like overreact to that. You know, they invited it on themselves. So yeah, I mean, in recent years, it's been great because I get that crowd. But yeah, there were times when I was in San Francisco, I hate to pick on them, but there are places that are very wokey thinking, God, I wish I was in Alabama. Because that crowd laughs, but they're not pretentious, you know. They're basically liberal, but they're not too politically correct. And comedy is not politically correct.
Yeah, I mean,
or else it's not comedy. You know what I mean?
My grandfather was a Southern Democrat. I mean, that was just what he was.
All Democrats used to be. I mean, all Southerners used to be
Democrat, and
Kennedy changed that.
And you know, I remember it was just you know, that was a thing. And then growing up in a Republican household, I mean, it was. But man, you know, it just, I don't know. In the South, I don't think we really care that much.
No,
I mean, we just want to wake up.
Right.
We just want to wake up and.
First of all, people have to understand politics mostly comes out of like your personality and where you were born and raised. You know, it's just deeper than just we're the good people and anyone who thinks differently isn't. It's just not that simple. It's just so annoying, that attitude. And I live amongst it because this is the epicenter of it, Hollywood.
This is a very interesting clip so far. Bill Maher, not only, listen, he's spoken out against the woke stuff before. This is not that new. However, for him to he brings up Trump, brings up what Trump's been doing since he's got back into office, and he doesn't flip out about it. His TDS doesn't come out. He's saying, yeah, well, what do you expect? The woke, they went too far the other way. Which is absolutely correct. That is what happened. They went too extreme on everything. Not even just with the border, but even with like social issues like trans stuff. Like, okay, it's one thing to be like, oh, if you're a grown adult and you want to be trans, yeah, go ahead. But then they started going after kids. And they started being it to where like, oh, if you just say you're a woman, you could use the women's restroom and play in women's sports and stuff. That's too much the other way. So of course we have to correct everything in such a harsh and abrupt manner. What do you guys think about this? Sound off in the comment section below. Smash that like button if you're enjoying so far. Let's continue.
Dude. But yeah, most people just, first of all, they don't want to think about it at all. When Biden got elected, that was really his big pledge was, if you elect me, you don't have to keep thinking about Donald Trump and all this stuff. Of course, that was a pipe dream because Trump never went away and then he won in the election again. So we never stopped thinking about it. But most people, they would like to stop thinking about politics because it doesn't really, in their view, affect their lives. Government can help their lives. They usually don't recognize when it does. They very well note when it doesn't. But basically, would they even know who was president a lot of the times? In many households, not. And they want to just get back to that, and I can't blame them. I can't blame them. It's too on people's minds. They put it in their social media. They put it in what they write on Facebook. And so we're always like cockfighting each other.
Yeah.
Like making and we, we don't have to. We can just talk about murdering animals.
That was a reference because earlier they were talking about like slaughtering animals versus hunting and stuff. But yeah, and again, this was something that the left went too extreme on. They're the ones that were like, oh, everything is political. Politics has to be in everything. And they started injecting it into everything where you can't even talk about a TV show or an actor or even sports without it being, or even a beer or something, like a type of beer, without it being political. Because the left started infusing it. These wacko lefty ideologues in these corporations and and the football teams and all these things started speaking out and trying to impose their ideology onto everybody. So yeah, they made it political. And so then obviously the right had to put out some of their own political stuff, and it just became a huge mess. Not talking about politics. There was two things you don't talk about, religion and politics. That's not a new saying. That's always been a thing. But it's kind of hard not to talk about politics when it's been infused into everything. And so, yeah, I agree. Like, I want to get back to a time where we could just talk about a TV show, talk about a movie, talk about, have a few beers or something like that, and not have somehow lead back into politics.
I'm not against if you eat them.
Well, and like I said, back to what we were saying, man, it's hard to get everybody together on the same stuff in this country. And it just takes time and it takes work. And
so what's it like playing LA?
Man,
where do you play here?
Well, I played Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, that's a big arena.
Several times.
That's great.
I played the Dodgers Stadium.
Well, that's big.
Which was
Dodger Stadium. Wow.
Dodger Stadium. I mean, so that goes back to what I tell you with New Jersey. And I mean, thinking New Jersey and then coming out here and playing Dodger Stadium, I was like, it was just so trippy. I got into cycling, and I cycled up a big hill that morning and stood out over the stadium looking down, and I was like, damn, that's Dodger Stadium, and I'm playing it.
Anytime you're playing a place whose last name is Stadium, you did well.
Man, it
all
amazing.
Came out in the wash for you.
Bill Maher seemingly just sick of the left and all the wokeness that maybe his TDS is cured. But what do you think? Is that a bit of a reach? Has Bill Maher been cured? Sound off in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this. And if you do enjoy content like this, if you like seeing Bill Maher stuff, I got a whole playlist for you that you could binge away and enjoy.